What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Leeds United Career Mode. This is episode number 27 now, and it's the time of the FA Cup final game against Everton. You're going to be seeing it coming up in a second here, but I just want to make a quick comment on this video before I start. The first thing is that this was supposed to be completely live, but when I came to doing it, and I'd already recorded the episode, not realising I should have tested it beforehand, but I forgot to do that, I put my settings to what I thought was okay, and then I came to review the footage after this, and basically you can only hear the in-game volume, and pretty much it drowns the sound of me out. So this meant I'm having now to do it as a post-commentary, which is very disappointing, because I actually wanted to give you it as a live com, but I unfortunately can't do that now, which, yeah, it's just so annoying, because I did try my best to do it, and then as I say, when I came to editing the footage back, turned out that I actually didn't sound loud enough, basically, and you could just hear the in-game sound. So apologies for that if you wanted a live episode. I'm going to try my best to make it as entertaining as I can with a post-commentary here in this FA Cup final. But as I always try to do to make the finals a little bit more interesting, I'll try to give you it live. But I won't be doing the playoff one live either, because I recorded this at the same time, and I thought I had the great settings for it. But the next final that we have in this series will hopefully be live, and I'll try my best to get it as a live commentary feed thing. So you can see the changes we're making to the side as we go into this FA Cup final to talk a little bit about each change or the team that I actually name and the reason I named the players that I chose. I think up front I went with Joel Green, Chris Wood and Kamar Roof to start with. The reason for that is obviously Iwobi's injured at the moment, and I decided to bring Sacco on, or that was going to be my plan, if we needed the extra bit of legs later on in the game. I decided to start with this side because I felt as though Chris Wood, Kamar Roof and Joel Green have been the three most prolific attackers, and as you can see there, Sacco's slightly not at full fitness, so otherwise he probably would have been playing. I then played Vieira, Bridcut and Hernandez as the midfield three, which you're going to see as well. I decided to go with those three pretty much because Hernandez has been one of our better players this season so far. Vieira to give him the run at Wembley, to give him see what he could do in there as a 72 overall midfielder, and Bridcut obviously as the holding midfielder, slightly better than Diarraga, although I was actually contemplating bringing on Diarraga and actually playing him. Then I think I named, obviously, our two strongest defenders in Unai Garcia and I think it was Janssen. Then we actually had Miguel at left back and we had Berardi at right back. You can see me here showing the settings we're playing with today's game. I think I bumped it up to 6 minutes, actually a half, rather than 4, which is what I normally play on, just to give you guys a little bit more of an interesting game. You can see all the sliders as well at 50-50-50. I was going through and talking about it at the time, just basically saying, you know, we've got here in a very commanding fashion, having knocked out 3 Premier League sides already. So there's no reason why we can't do the same here when we take on Everton in the FA Cup final. So you saw everything there, the settings and everything, just to show you the guys what basically going into the final. Because I tried to do it live and basically show you everything, as you can see here as I speed it up with the training game, just to sort of... The reason I don't edit these bits out is because in that way you see the transition of me going from the beginning of the game, choosing everything, into the actual gameplay itself, as we did. Here we go. You're going to hear no sound, by the way, on this, because I had to obviously mute it due to the fact that you can only hear sound, and pretty much in the background, if I was talking over this, you'd hear like the slightest little volume of a voice, and it'll be mine, but it's just so stupid. There's literally no point of me doing it. So you won't be hearing any commentary, or rather not any sound, sorry, in this. You will just be hearing my voice, so if I'm a bit boring and if you don't like me, then apologies for that, but at the end of the day, there's nothing I can do about it right now. So we did take on Everton here, FA Cup final, the first one of the series. It's our first final of the series as well. Ronald Koeman taking his Everton side to the FA Cup final for the first time in his career at Everton. We also led our Leeds United side to the first time here in the FA Cup final as well. So both managers making their debuts in the FA Cup final at their respective clubs, and it was going to be interesting, this. I was really looking forward to this, but unfortunately, he actually said that Morales was the danger man for Everton on the day. Yes, he is very good, but then I was thinking in my head, I would have put Lukaku there, but then I realised that Lukaku's actually gone to Manchester United. I showed you it in a previous episode, I think it was about 59 million or something crazy like that. They actually sold Lukaku, which meant they had to play Enner Valencia up front, which left them with that side that you can see on your screen there. Very strong Everton side, but we were expecting no less in this final, let's face it. We were expecting to go up against the hardest possible side that Everton would face, and they actually had Barkley playing in behind him as well. Obviously, Barkley is a very good player. They had Deulofeu and Morales on the wings, with Valencia up front, so I was sort of going into this thinking, you know what, if I play the way that I know we can play, as this was the side that we named, you've obviously seen it just before as I made the changes to it, but if you missed that for any reason, there it is again with Silvestri starting in goal for us today. He's earned his spot in this FA Cup final. Berardi, Janssen, Garcia, Miguel as the defensive unit. Vieira, Bridcut, and I do believe it was Pablo Hernandez with the mid-front three of Joel Green, Kamar Roof, and Chris Wood. Joel Green, in his first season here at Leeds United, 18 years of age, starts an FA Cup final alongside Miguel, both coming from the the Youth Academy. Only 16 Miguelis, actually, and they both start in this FA Cup final here. And I show you it straight from kickoff, as we made a mistake early on in this one. It was a bit of nervous, as you can see there, as we kick it straight at Bridcut. It bounces off him. Everton will create a chance straight from this. Morales down this left-hand side into Enner Valencia. Enner Valencia turning. It's really poor defence from me. He just mugged me off, basically. Set me left and right, and I couldn't quite win the ball off him as he gives it into Ross Barkley. Barkley into Gareth Barry, I do believe, coming up in a second here. No, it's back to Enner Valencia, sorry, into Gareth Barry. And then Gareth Barry finishes it off. So 3 minutes into this game, we were 1-0 down at Wembley in the FA Cup final, and I couldn't quite comprehend what just happened. We gave the ball away pretty much straight from kickoff through our own fault by kicking it straight at Bridcut as he didn't even realise the pass was coming to him. Hit him on the back, and it set up Everton with a chance, which is, again, had we have actually done better defensively, wouldn't have given the chance, but they did manage to get the chance, and we were 1-0 down from the first shot on goal as we stole the ball back here 10 minutes into the game. Give it to Joel Green, who's going to try and create something for us in the game. Get a lot of luck here, you're going to see in a second as we play down Chris Wood in that right-hand side. He gets sort of tackled, but he manages to stay on his feet. Passes the ball inside to Joel Green here. Joel Green's first time left-footed shot finds the bottom corner of the goal, and that made it Everton 1, Leeds United 1, 12 minutes into this game, meaning that an FA Cup final in Wembley. And we've had 2 goals inside the first 12 minutes of this one, and 1 apiece either way. And at this point in the actual live commentary, I was going absolutely mental. I was thinking, I can't believe this. Joel Green has just scored inside 12 minutes on his debut here. I say on his debut, I mean in his debut in an FA Cup final, or rather in a final of any sort for the youngster. And he scored to make it 1-1. An absolutely wonderful finish from our young man, number 13. Next season, he will be bumping up to the number 14 shirt, obviously worn by such legends as Thierry Henry. So, means that next season, when we do have a few players coming into the club, Joel Green will be given that number 14 shirt and will definitely be one of the starting 11 on the team sheet. Let's face it, he's not going to not be a starting 11 when he's been playing as well as he has for us this season. But I didn't even edit it out here, because straight from kickoff, Everton made a mistake 13 minutes into this. So there's been 2 mistakes so far. One was from us, which cost us a goal, gave Everton a goal, I should say. As I think it was Enner Valencia gives it to Ross Barkley. Barkley tries to play into Gareth Barry, gives it back to Ross Barkley. Barkley, though, is going to get tackled by Bridcut. It wins it, gets through to Ronaldo Vieira, gives it off to Kamaru. Kamaru starts running at the Everton defence. He's got a little bit of pace, but he feeds it into Chris Wood. Chris Wood back to Kamaru. Kamaru back inside to Joel Green, and you've guessed it, the young man made it Leeds United 2, Everton 1, 16 minutes on the clock. Joel Green has hit 2 goals. We've had 3 chances in the entire game, and all 3 of those have ended up in the back of the net. This was a crazy start to an FA Cup final. We found ourselves a goal down. I had to come back and try and get myself something out of the game, and we made it 2-1 there inside the 16th minute. Joel Green with 2 wonderful finishes, I have to say, both on his weaker left foot, may I add, as well. He's got a freestyle weak foot, but he's actually right-footed. But both of these efforts from Joel Green on that weaker left side of his, but this one was the pick of the 2 so far, I'd have to say. That one goes right in the top corner. Joel Green makes it 2-1. I couldn't quite believe the luck we were having here at Wembley on the day. And I'm telling you guys right now, Joel Green is going to be a star. He's going to be probably one of the best players in the future. I can't wait to see his growth and see what we can get him to in this career mode. As he hit 2 at Wembley in the final. It's his first 2 FA Cup goals of the season as well. So it's very nice to see that they've both come in the final. As Everton will create a chance themselves in the 38th minute of this one. Poor defending again by me. Gareth Barry and Ross Barkley ran ragged today, and they just couldn't quite make tackles on them, in all honesty. They absolutely just ran me ragged in the final third. Gives the ball off to Enner Valencia, and you guessed it, 4 chances, 4 goals in the game. This was literally the only chances in the game. There was nothing else. We'd had 4 shots, 2 for each side, and we've ended up with 2 goals for each side. So it was very nice finishing on the day at Wembley. It's a very nice cup final to watch if you're a neutral. But for me, I couldn't quite believe the fact that we were 2-2 here inside 39 minutes. We'd done so well in keeping them at bay. I was having a poor game defensively in terms of that one. I was missing my tackles and not really timing them to perfection. As Enner Valencia smashes that one home to make it Everton 2, Leeds United 2, and I was so thinking in my head, just go into half-time, 2-2, I'll be happy with this one if we can go in at 2-2, but we went into basically the first half still again. Joel Green into Berardi, trying to work some space myself. I gave the ball away stupidly down the right-hand side. Leighton Baines makes the tackle, gives it to Morales. Morales into Enner Valencia. Enner Valencia is going to, I do believe, give it down the line again to Morales, who is actually going to mug me off again. And he gives it to Ross Barkley, who then gives it down the line to Morales. Morales going down the left-hand side now, gets into a very good position to cross the ball in. A poor tackle from me again, yet again. Tried to clear it, doesn't clear it very well, and Ross Barkley makes me pay for it. So going in at half-time, just as I said I would have liked to have gone in at 2-2, we were 3-2 down on the 45th minute of the game, and I couldn't quite believe the luck that we were having here. We managed to get ourselves back to 2-1, and then found ourselves 3-2 down, as Everton really should have made it 4-2 here, with Ross Barkley yet again, who rang me ragged all game long. His strike, though, going just wide of the post. You're going to see, though, I don't edit this out, because Silvestri gives the ball off down the line to Berardi. Berardi cuts inside, I do believe, to Pablo Hernandez. Gives it off yet again to Bridcut into Joe Green. Nice one-touch passing from the two of them. Joe Green, little dink over the top. Sees the run of Chris Wood being made. Chris Wood has a chance to make it Leeds United 3, Everton 3, and you can bet your bottom dollar he did that. So the only chance to have missed the goal in this one was that Barkley shot, which we went up the other end and scored from. Absolutely crazy scenes here at the FA Cup in Wembley. Couldn't quite believe the fact that we just managed to make it 3-3 with a chance like that. Wood's not known for his pace, but he made the run and Joe Green found him. So on the day, Joe Green's got himself 2 goals and also an assist at the FA Cup final in Wembley. We're going to struggle, guys, to keep hold of Joe Green. And we're going to have so many offers coming in for him, I can guarantee it. I just hope that he is happy here and wants to stay at Leeds United, because I do want to keep him on in this career mode and try and get him to the heights that I'm hoping he will hit. Into the 57th minute of this one as Everton clear a chance that I did try and have, as they knocked the ball down with Enner Valencia. Ross Barkley gets through. Poor defending yet again from me as I cut the ball out. Get a bit unlucky with the fact that it bounces back from for Everton, but then at this point I'm thinking I can't believe this. But what a save that is by Silvestri, as Everton should have been 4-3 up in the game. Actually, it should have been 5-3, because that's the twice now Ross Barkley's missed a good chance for Everton, but a great save to deny them from Mikel Silvestri. Cross comes in, poor in the end from Everton, as Silvestri makes an easy save on that one, but our keeper quite possibly may have just saved the game for us. As in the 60th minute now, Liam Bridcut breaking for us, as I did kind of sit back a little bit and just sort of invited pressure on to try and break on my opponents. Kamaru gets inside of a couple of men, dribbles into a good position and fires his shot goalwards. And look at the power that he got behind that. I think it may have taken a deflection on the way through, which is why it sort of went as high as it did. But we were leading in the FA Cup final for the first time. Oh, no, we weren't. We were leading by 2-1. I do apologise about that. But we are leading for the second time, I should say, in this game. I don't believe it. Oh, yes, it did actually take a deflection. It was a slight deflection on its way through from Kamaru, I do believe. Is it actually? I don't quite know, but it's a great strike nonetheless into the top corner. Leeds United 4, Everton 3 on the day of the FA Cup final. What a game if you're a neutral. But for me, this was absolutely nerve-wracking. Every time Everton got the ball, I was thinking I was going to concede, and I couldn't really make my tackles count, as I've seen a couple of times during this clip here, as Delafeu gets a good chance for Everton in the 68th minute to make it 4-4 in the game. Really unlucky the fact that I didn't manage to make that initial tackle. That's Enner Valencia hits his strike straight at Silvestri, who makes yet another good save for us on the day. And I just couldn't get the ball out there in the 69th minute, but we did eventually get it out. Give it to Miguel down this left-hand side. Miguel's going to go run his little run. He's got great space to run into as Everton sort of committed men forward. Gives it off to Kamaru. Kamaru sees the run of Joel Green being made at this back post here. Dinks the ball over to him. Brings it down in the box. And Joel Green, 19 or 18 years of age, gets a hat-trick at Wembley in the FA Cup final. We caught them on the break in the 71st minute, breaking Everton hearts at the fact that they should have been back in this one. But they weren't in it, and at 5-3, I was thinking to myself, right, this is it. I can't believe it. We're going to win the FA Cup final. There's only 20-ish minutes left, and I'm 2 goals up here. If I mess up this 2-goal lead, then I don't deserve to win it, in all honesty. If I'd have messed up this, and Everton came back to win the game, I would have been thoroughly disappointed in myself. At 20 minutes to go, with Joel Green hitting a hat-trick and getting an assist on the day, I couldn't, for his sake, lose this final, because if I did, I'd have felt so bad for Joel Green, as he made a very good performance on the day. But the 90th minute, there we go, there's the final whistle, as we did manage to win the FA Cup in our first season here at Leeds United. A bit unrealistic, I guess you could say, but at the same time, no one predicted Leicester winning the league last year, and they won that. So, although we got there through a bit of luck with the fact that obviously Liverpool should have knocked us out in that 2-1 when we managed to score in the 90th minute, and honestly didn't deserve to score in the 90th minute. I had a couple of chances, but there was nothing really in that game that made me think that we deserved to go through against Liverpool, but we did. Then we played against, we played Man City actually before that, which we actually just tore them a new one. We played so well at home against City. Then we played Chelsea in the last one. Chelsea missed a few opportunities to knock us out there, took it to penalties, knocked them out on penalties, came here in the final of this game in the FA Cup final, played against an Everton side that gave us an absolutely crazy game and gave us a scare, in all honesty. They should have probably won the game. If they didn't miss the chances they had and they took their chances, they would have won the game by about 6-5, I would have said. They had 3 chances in which they should have scored from and they missed them. So they came back to ruin those missed chances, but we didn't, because we managed to hit 5 goals on the day, which is very, very crazy, as Pablo Hernandez, Mr. Consistent all series long, lifts the trophy for himself and Leeds United as we get our first piece of silverware in this series so far. I can't believe we managed to win the FA Cup in our first season. I'm so proud of what the lads have achieved here at Leeds United. Joe Green, the pick of the bunch there on the day. He's got a hat-trick. He got an assist as well for himself. He's arguably been the best player we've had so far in this first season, alongside Pablo Hernandez. Those two have just worked wonders for us. Miguel did his job as well at left-back today. Wasn't the greatest defensive performance from me, I have to say, by all means. But we managed to do the job, and that's all that matters here. As you can see, Pablo Hernandez parading the trophy round, as this is a new thing in FIFA now. Before, you'd only literally get it where they'd lift the trophy and you see a photo from them. But now they actually parade the trophy around the Wembley Stadium. As you can see, the Leeds fans bouncing in the background. loving life at the moment at the fact that they've managed to hit the heights in which they did a few years back before they obviously got relegated out of the Premier League when they were playing in Europe. This means, guys, we're in the Europa League. We have won the FA Cup, which means we now play in the Europa League. I actually forgot about it until this next season, which I've actually recorded the start of the next season and a bunch of the transfers that I was looking at bringing in and stuff, and I actually didn't realise that we were playing in Europe until a European game came around, which is very, very, very strange. I wasn't expecting to be playing in Europe this season, I have to say, but we are playing Europe, and I didn't quite realise that until after the transfer window had gone. So we're going to struggle for next season, guys. I've got so many games to be playing in, and I've got so little sort of squad depth that we're going to struggle, I think, in terms of games. We're going to have games every other day. As you can see there, though, on the day, Everton had so many more chances than us, but they missed them. They had 9 shots to our 7, 5 on target to our 6. Joel Green played at a 10 rating on the day. He got 3 goals and an assist for himself, so a very good performance from him. But talking a little bit about what I just said, obviously, I didn't realise we were in Europe, so I didn't sign any more players. I didn't go squad depth. I went for just some big players that would help us stay up in the Premier League. So don't be looking at Europe and thinking that we're going to do anything in there. If we do something in there, then great. I think the draw that we've got quite now, in terms of the group stage, was actually fairly nice to us, so we don't actually have that many tough teams, but I'm not expecting to go a long way in Europe when we do play it next season. There's no reason why we can't, because obviously we've beaten a few better sides, and I'd say Everton, in terms of a side, is much better than some of the European sides that we will be coming up against in that one, in the Europa League, but we'll just have to wait and see how we get on in that one. But we are coming towards the end of this episode of Career Mode. If you have enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button, smash the like button as well, because we managed to win the FA Cup here with Leeds in our first season. Apologies if you think it's a bit unrealistic, but again, Leicester won the league last season and no one predicted that, so who knows? It's football, anything can happen. Thank you all so much for watching this episode of Career Mode. If you have enjoyed, don't forget to hit the like button, and I'll see you all for the next episode very soon. Adios!